So the world's ending tomorrow. Ha! Well, I guess it has been 2 years since everything changed, and the future became the present, and the present became the past. So in that spirit of things, I decided to make a playlist for when the world ends. First up, there can only be sad songs about the end of days, obviously. And the first one has to be Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. This song is so quintessentially 80s. It feels like if you were gonna have a big dramatic moment where the world was ending, this would be playing over the montage. It also makes me think of the line "All I ever wanted was a simple life," which I feel like if we got that now, all of us would collectively say yes. Next up, we have Johnny Cash. Now I could have chosen Ring of Fire or Hurt, but I went with One More Ride because it has a bit more upbeat, and it feels like a Johnny Cash song that he knew was gonna be his last. So you kind of know the world's ending. You got your boots on, you're riding off into the sunset, you got your six-pack and a pack of smokes. You're ready to roll. Okay, the next one is by a band called This Mortal Coil. They're kind of like a super group of 4AD bands, if you will. It's Elizabeth Fraser from Cocteau Twins, Simon Raymond from the Jesus, and Mary Chain and a few other people. And they made an album in 1989 called Blood. And it's really beautiful. And haunting and ethereal. And there's a song on there called Song to a Siren. And it starts with these bells, and then Elizabeth Fraser starts singing, and it's just very haunting and beautiful and ethereal. And I don't even know what the lyrics are. I couldn't tell you what the song's about, but it's called Song to a Siren. So I think we should play it. Next up, we have U2 The Best of Times. There's a lot of good U2 songs to choose from, but this one just popped into my head. And if the world's ending, you might as well do it with your best friends, right? You might as well go out with a bang. And this sounds like a song that you would play at the end of a movie. And also, again, it's another sad song about how things change and you never get back what you had. But it has also got that little bit of hope at the end, because even though the best of times are gone, maybe there'll be better times ahead. And that's something to look forward to. Okay, now I want to pick something a little more obscure. This is by a band called The Clientele. They're from London. They've been around forever. They're still around. They haven't really broken up. They just sort of stopped making records for a while, and then started again. And they have this one song. It's not on Spotify, it's only on Apple Music, but it's called A Last Minute Commute. And it's basically a sad song about missing the train. But it makes me think of those final moments when the world ends, and you ray stuck somewhere and the train isn't coming, and you ray never gone now see the people that you love again. That's how this song makes me feel. Okay, let's go back to something a little more bombastic. We got Billie Eilish, Oxytocin. I mean, come on, you can't talk end of the world without playing Oxytocin. Also, I feel like if you're gonna make a playlist for when the world ends, you got to include at least one artist from each decade. And we've got a lot of decades covered here today. So far we've got 80s, 90s, and now we've got 2010s. And this song, even though it's about heartbreak, it also makes me think of the end of the world. Let's take a trip back to 1977 and check in with David Bowie, who wrote one of the greatest songs of all time, Heroes. He was living in West Berlin. It was bleak and gray and cold. Things were really bad in the city. But he looked across the street and saw this couple kissing and making out by the wall. And it gave him hope that even though the world is bleak and gray and cold, there's still beauty to be found. And that's what matters. Okay, I lied. I'm actually going to add to more songs by David Bowie. I just couldn't stop thinking of them. The first one is Black Tie White Noise. It's off of Never Let Me Down. And I know that record is hit or miss for a lot of people, but this song is one of my favorite dance tracks of all time. I mean, it's not really dance music. It's kind of soul. But I always felt like you could play this at the end of the world and everyone would just start dancing. Everyone would be like, well, nothing left to lose. Let's dance. And the last Bowie song I want to add is Dancing in the Street. This is the single edit, which has never been released on vinyl. For some reason, it's like they made the mistake of releasing the album version, which is 9 minutes long. Why did they do that? Why would you release a 9-minute version of this song? I don't understand. Okay, I can't believe I forgot this song. I grew up hearing this song every Halloween because the opening riff sounds like a skeleton jingling its bones. So naturally I had to include Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. I don't care if the world's ending. If there's ghosts, we got the Ghostbusters. I want to lighten the mood a little bit now with Echo and the Bunnymen, The Killing Moon. I associate this song with the end of summer and the beginning of fall. And if you live in a place like Portland, Oregon where it rains all the time, the killing moon is when the sun comes out and you gotta enjoy it while it lasts. So it feels like a song that you would play as the world is ending and the sun is shining through the smoke and the ash. Alright, we've made it halfway through our countdown. Do you have a song that you desperately want to hear before the world ends? Maybe put it in the comments below. I'd love to check out the rest of your playlist. Alright, time for some ABBA. The world's ending. You need to dance. So let's play Fernando. Okay, maybe not Fernando. What about Knowing Me, Knowing You? Yeah, that's better. Knowing Me, Knowing You. Let's stay in Sweden and check in with a friend. This is a rare solo outing for someone who spends most of their time in a band. This is Per Ingvolen from Bathory. And he has a band called Tre Blasted Heath, and the song is called From the Wild Hunt. It's in Swedish, but it's pretty easy to decipher. It's about Odin riding through the forest with his 8-legged horse. And he's looking for good men to take with him into battle. And it makes me think of the end of days, maybe the apocalypse, the whole 9 yards. Okay, now let's go to Scotland and check in with Teenage Fanclub. They're from Bellshill, which is near Glasgow. And they've been making jangle pop records for a long time. This is one of their newer ones. It's called God Knows What I'm Saying and it's kind of a slow burn. It starts off kinda quiet and builds as the song goes on. But it's just so sweet and melodic and pretty, and if the world is ending, this is the type of song that would make you feel a little bit better. We're keeping it in Scotland for our next song. This is Orange Juice, Rip It Up. If you're a fan of jangle pop or twee pop or anything like that, then you have to check out Orange Juice. And this song, it's a B-side, but it's awesome. It's so catchy and fun, and up until recently, this was a song that I hadn't heard in like 30 years. I heard it in a commercial and I was like, wait a second, is that Orange Juice? And then I looked it up and sure enough it was. Okay, one more Scottish band. Sorry, I just love Scottish music. This is BMX Bandits, Celebrate the End. This is kind of a newish song, but it's really catchy. I love the bass line on this. It reminds me of The Cure. And it's just a really great song to blast as the world is ending. Well, I guess it has been 2 years since we learned that the future would never be what we thought it would be. And honestly, I'm just glad to be here. And I'm glad you're here too. I'm really glad you took the time to listen to my playlist. And if the world ends tomorrow, remember, I love you.